Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nutrition Kitchen with Gio. This is part of our holiday handful, and I'm so excited to be here today. Please introduce yourself. This is a live segment, and if you have any questions, I am prepared to answer them all. So make sure you write them down in the chat box. I will probably most likely get to them at the end. This fabulous cookbook is the book I wrote about my dad, the chef of Greenwich Village. I'm offering it to BB Body subscribers for half off. I will put out the code later, but it is a great book, great holiday gift. Let's start cooking. So what are we making today? I am so excited. We are making fish in papillote, and all you need to do to have this is to get a white fish. I can't tell you which fish to get because I always buy the freshest fish. I want to make sure I am live right now. So I'm going to just text Faye because I don't see anyone on here. But if you are here, hold on, guys. Let me see if we're live. But I want to talk about fish with you in case we are live. I never decide which fish I'm getting until I go to the market that day. So you need to buy the freshest fish. And if you don't know what the freshest fish is, don't be shy. Ask. We're live. I see people coming on. Okay. So this is a cod. I don't always get what I want here in Florida, but this looks really great. And we're going to make this papillote style. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you in a second. We're also going to make a fresh shaved fennel salad, anti-inflammatory, extremely tasty, crunchy. We're going to marry it with some oranges and capers and olives, and then roasted asparagus. And your holiday is going to be off to a good start. So before we begin, let me see who's here and say hi. How are you? I'm going to just text my Faye and make sure we're on live. And we're going to get started. Make sure you have a clean space. Make sure you have a clean cutting board, some sharp knives. There you guys are. Hello, I got a little nervous. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to begin by getting some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, this is your newest food item. I use parchment paper. You can ask Brooke Burke. For everything I do, I line my pans with parchment paper. It makes cleanup easier, much healthier for us than aluminum foil. And for this papillote recipe, which once you see how to do it, you're going to make it all the time, you're going to want a nice piece of parchment paper. So look at my cutting board. You know, we don't have to be exact here, but this is pretty much the size I want. Now, while I'm cutting this, try to get a straight line. Brooke knows I failed kindergarten. I'm kidding. I didn't fail kindergarten, but I'm not the best at cutting. But you want to make this into the shape of a heart, okay? Practically a heart. So you'd start at the end, right? I'm going to try to make a pretty heart. And the best thing about this recipe is you can prepare this the night before, the morning of. And if you have guests, you don't have to do any preparation until the guests show up. You pop this in the oven. This is an ugly heart. I better pay attention. You'll pop this in the oven and they'll be like, what the heck? This is incredible. And you get to enjoy your guests. You get to enjoy your night without having to do too much work. And if you can't cut like me, I can't cut. It's not my forte. Take a pen, draw a heart. I mean, see, guys, you can laugh at yourself. See how imperfect I am? Do not tell anyone that's my heart. My culinary chefs will be gasping right now. Okay, so you have your heart, hopefully better than mine. I'm going to make this work. We're not going to waste it. And you're going to take your fish, okay? Now, you can do a lot of things to your fish. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to my fish. I have it on a plate. I have some salt. I have some pepper. Notice my salt is black. You can thank Brooke Burke. She bought me this. It's a Hawaiian salt. I like to play with different salts when I cook. Don't be shy about salting. You want to season your fish generously with some salt, some pepper, freshly ground preferably, and we're going to take some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I know you're going to ask me which one I use. This particular one is Partana. It's from Sicily. Okay, that's perfect. And a little lemon. Now, if you have white wine, which I don't, I have white wine, but I don't have an open bottle, you could put a little white wine on this too. This is not a strict rule. You could do anything to this. You might want to do your fish with a little butter. You might want to change the citrus and do lemon. You might want to take out citrus altogether and do a balsamic vinegar. So have fun in the kitchen. This is a go-to recipe of mine. I'm going to place this now on one side of this really messy heart. Just place it right there. This alone's a little boring, so we're going to dress it up a little bit. So watch what I do here. I'm going to just put this to the side because I want to show you how to cut. I have tomatoes. I love cherry tomatoes. My problem is I eat while I cook. I'm actually really starving. Let me show you a quick little trick. Take these grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. These are cherry. The good thing about cherry tomatoes is you can eat them raw. So when you're really hungry like me, just keep popping them in your mouth. Place them on a plate, upside down plate, yeah? Grab yourself a serrated knife. You will save so much time with this technique, okay? You have people coming over, boom, place this on top. You guys see this? Take your serrated knife, hand firm, and then you just cut down the middle. And as they say in Queens, New York, boom, we've got cherry halves. See how easy that was? Look at that. Perfectly halved, saved so much time. I'm gonna put this over here because I'm gonna use this for another recipe as well, but I wanted to show you that little trick. Okay, so we take our parchment paper. We're gonna put some cherry halves, not too much, just enough, right on top of the fish. See that? And it's gonna burst open on this fish. Perfect. Look at that. You can smell how good it is. Fresh fish should not smell, by the way. I don't smell anything from this fish. If your fish smells fishy, no good. And now I have some fresh thyme. I'm going to stick it right on top, just like that. And I'm going to add a little parsley. Like this. I'm going to just peel off some leaves, just like that. We're making a beautiful herb fish and papillote. What else do I want to add to mine? I'm going to add a few capers. Now you might want to add some sliced onion, some garlic. You get creative. You do you. I'm going to put a little garlic. Why not? It could get a little messy. It's okay. We're not here to be perfect in this kitchen. So I'm going to cut a few olives. What are my favorite olives to use? First of all, I love all olives. But my favorite olives are called Castelvetrano. You will see this in so many of my recipes. I can't help it. I keep popping them in my mouth as I go along. What else do I want to put in this? Did I say garlic? I did. But I don't have any garlic out. I thought I did, but that's okay. I put a little garlic. Hold on. I have a clove that I prepared. Give me 1 second. 1 clove of garlic, everybody. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Where did I put that clove? See, I went live with Brooke, and I'm not set up the way I was last week. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, 1 clove of garlic. There we go. Sorry about that. Take it, slice it. I'm actually gonna do a half a clove. 1 clove is too much garlic. I don't wanna overpower anything here, just a little accentuation, okay? And that's it. Now, here's the magic. I'm gonna pull this back so you can see. And you're gonna have to give this a little grace because your heart's gonna be much better. You're gonna fold over your heart and then you're gonna tuck the sides just like this. See, do little tucks. If you want, you can splatter it with a little olive oil on top, just like that. It helps it stick better. And now, if I was making this for guests for later, which I am because I already have one in the oven, this will be my dinner tomorrow. I'm going to show you the cooked version. It's in the oven right now. I would put this to the side. How long would I be cooking this for? 15, 25 minutes, depending on the thickness of the fish. But you'll know it's cooked, and I'll show you how, because the parchment paper is going to get nice and brown. And then the best part is, which I'll show you, so don't leave me yet, is when we open it up. It bursts with flavor. And if your parchment paper doesn't close, you can always take a little egg white, not egg yolk, egg white, and you brush it onto that fold so that it closes. And then even if it opens up a little bit, it's okay. I won't tell anyone. But you don't want it to. You want it to be sealed. Mine's opening up slightly because of that heart. So get the heart better than mine. And this is how it should look. Okay? sealed like this. You could put a tray of these in the fridge, and then when it's time to cook, and you don't have to just do this with fish. You can do this with shrimp. Well, I guess shrimp is a fish. You can do this with chicken, thin slices of chicken. You can do this with any kind of protein, really. Papillote, most popular, you would see this with fish. Any questions for me yet? I'm gonna move on. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Pamela. This is going to be delicious. Thank you, Brooke. Colleen. Oh, you're amazing. All right, so I hope you guys try that little technique that I showed you. We're moving on to some roasted asparagus. Super easy vegetable, a good one, by the way. I love asparagus, and these are already clean, but you don't want the ends. So just chop them up, discard them, get them out of the way. Those are too tough. And if you want to be a little fancy, which I know some of you do, you can take an asparagus and literally shave the ends. I'm not going to do that because I don't have that kind of time, but I would do it if I was having company. I don't have that kind of time today. So just want to show you options. I line my pan, and I love this pan. I was given to this by a wonderful Frenchman in Greenwich Village when I got married. I love the shape of this. I don't know where he got it, but I love that it's copper. So love your kitchen tools. It makes you feel extra fancy. Now we're going to do a very simple recipe, and I am going to put my oven on broil, not bake, because my oven's broken and it makes a weird noise. You could roast these slowly for 15-20 minutes. I'm going to do them 5 to 7 on my broiler. I'm going to take some ground pepper. I'm going to take some salt. This is going to make such a beautiful lunch. You heard that sound? I hope you did. I'm going to take some olive oil. I'm going to take this lemon that I already used for the fish. I don't like to waste anything. And I'm going to zest it right on top of the asparagus. When you're zesting a lemon, it's very important to turn it. You don't want to keep it in one spot because then it becomes tart, the flavor. You just want just that outer layer. So keep rotating it and just get some lemon flakes on top, really nice. Now, I think that's pretty, but it's a little boring. So those tomatoes that I cut, I'm gonna put them right in the center. Tomatoes are so beautiful, so healthy. They add that pop of color. That garlic that I saved, half of it, I'm gonna chop the rest of it, stick it right in between. See how cooking could be so easy? Look at this, very easy. I'm gonna mince it with this little serrated knife. I put it there, no fancy cutting right there. I just kind of loosely chopped it. I'm seeing that I have a text from Faye, and Faye is saying, no, everything recorded. All right, awesome, Faye, good job. And just like that, I'm gonna add a little more olive oil because I love it. You've got a dish that we're gonna stick in the oven. Keep the tomatoes in the middle. You could keep them anywhere. I just think it looks prettier that way. We're gonna put it in the oven. Guys, remind me that I have my oven on broil because we don't need to cook it that long when it's on broil. Okay, so now I just want to clean off my cutting board. I'm constantly cleaning off my board. You always want a clean space. We're going to move on to the fennel salad. I have to breathe. I've had way too much espresso today. I taught a class and I'm so excited to be here that I feel like I'm running on momentum. That's what happens when you're doing something you love with a community you love. Kimberly, I love that you said you're going to try this and that it looks so good. It is good. Kathy, welcome. You love this technique. Yeah, of course. And you could use chicken, and it's very versatile, this technique. And you're going to see when I pop it out of the oven. You can't smell it, but I trust your imagination will be able to. Any other questions, you could pop them in. I'm about to show you my favorite vegetable. I just went live with Brooke Burke, and I really believe that Brooke Burke and I bonded over fennel. When I found out that she loved fennel too, this relationship was meant to be. Not everybody knew what fennel was. I introduced my husband to fennel. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. There's so many ways to do fennel. A little story about fennel. I'm Italian, and Italians usually eat fennel as a way to digest food. It's very anti-inflammatory. It really helps. I love eating it before a meal, after a meal. It just helps me digest. And when I was a little kid in school, my mom cut this up for me and put them in Ziploc bags. I used to get made fun of. There was a kid, he thought this was an onion, and he used to like whisper, she eats onions from behind, and I didn't like potato chips. I wanted my fennel because I grew up on this. I developed a palate for this. I was not a normal kid. This is what I ate. I grew up eating this, and it does look like an onion, but it doesn't make you smell like an onion. And I wish I could see that kid now, because I'd say, would you like some fennel? You should use some. It's very healthy. You don't want this part. You remove it, and don't throw it out. This can be saved for stocks. I have a cup of water. I always save that part. I think his name was Edwin. It was 2nd grade. I'm a little traumatized from Edwin. He even had a song about how I crunched my fennel, but I won't sing it. Now look at this part. We don't want this part. So I'm gonna just slice it in half like this. I'm gonna get a smaller knife because I want you to see this right here. Normally, if I was just to eat this raw and slice it, I wouldn't care about that little part, but because we're going to use a mandolin, I want to cut that part off. And I need just a smaller knife. So you take this part off. Really not meant to be eaten, but I have eaten it. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this side. You cut it in half, and you get that little part out, okay? This salad is my favorite thing to eat, honestly. I eat this probably every day. I don't know how to live without fennel. I really don't. I hope you guys start eating fennel. So healthy. I have recipes called green tea talk soups on my website, thechefsdaughter.nyc, and it always has fennel. Now check out the outer layer. I don't know. This one doesn't seem too bad, but sometimes I remove it. I'm okay with the way this looks. How would you know to remove it? Sometimes it's really rough. Yeah, I'm okay with it. If it's really rough, remove that outer layer. I said you're not supposed to eat that part, but it's still good. I'm eating it. And grab yourself a mandolin. What about if you don't have a mandolin? You can use a vegetable peeler, or if you have really good knife skills, you slice it really thin. This is a great tool. You just want to be very careful. I am a trained chef, which means nothing, honestly. If you don't have, you know what? I'm missing a piece. So we'll use this next time because I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to show you how to just slice it really thin. I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to make sure my fingers are curled. But the point about the mandolin was once I didn't use the piece and I was talking to someone and you guys could understand what I did to my hand. So just like working out, kitchen safety, always, first and foremost. Sharp knives means kitchen safety. If you get a cut with a sharp knife, it's a nice even slice. When you don't have a sharp knife and it's dull, your cut is even jaggered. So that's why we want to always be safe in the kitchen. So you want to keep anything you're cutting flat on the surface, and you don't want your hands like this. You always curl your fingers so that you can feel your knuckles when you cut. Okay, I want to go very close because I want to make this as thin as possible. Okay, I could even make it thinner, but I'm okay with it being coarse. So we're just going to slice the fennel like that. It's really hot in this kitchen today. It's 86 degrees where I am. How hot is it by you? Once I get to the end, I'll eat it. Okay, nice thin slices. If I had a mandolin, it would be even thinner. Okay, throw out that end piece. Almost done, almost done. Vegetable peeler would have been fine. I'm telling you, I was too excited that I didn't check the mandolin for the piece. This is what happens. I get too excited. You guys get me so excited for GeoLux. And I'm hoping that some of you are a part of our Show Up, Rise Up challenge, 20-minute workouts. It's all we need this holiday season to get in the game. And guys, you can work out all you want. If you're not also being mindful in the kitchen, the workouts, they don't go to waste, but they're not as effective. You'll see more results in the kitchen, with your bodies if you eat like the way we're showing you on this show. So I hope you take us seriously with some of this stuff. All right, so I have some fennel. I'm gonna stick it in a pretty bowl. Mine's a little thicker than I normally do. I like fennel so much it doesn't matter, but if I were to use the mandolin, I could have shaved it really thin. Either way, it's delicious. I could eat this raw. I normally do, but because we're making a salad, I want to show you how I do it. So this orange has been cleaned. I'm going to be using the peel. I'm going to take the peel. There's still some lemon rind in there. That's okay. And I'm going to just turn it as I go. We're going to get some of those orange rinds. We use the whole fruit here. Zesting my orange right on top. Something about fennel and orange is so good. They love orange in Sicily. They have something called the blood orange, l'orange rossa. That's how I really like to have this salad. Very hard to get blood orange in America. Look at that. See the zesting, how pretty that is? You'll also find some here. You can get this little tool on Amazon. Get yourself one of these this Christmas. Great stocking stuffer. Now, I'm going to cut open this orange like this. Okay, don't keep this part. That's the rind. Cut it off nicely. So I'm going to work from the end. I'm going to cut off my rind. I'm going to check my asparagus because it's on broil. You guys were supposed to remind me. Did you use a stone to keep your knife sharp? No, but you should use a stone. I'll show you. I cheat. I have a machine to keep my knives sharp, and they do a pretty damn good job. My father is a chef, like a real chef. I'm a trained chef. He's a real chef. There's a difference. I don't cook in a restaurant. He cooks about 200 to 300 meals every night in New York City. So they're constantly sharpening their knives. And I'm going to have him give us a tutorial one day because his knife skills are amazing. So what am I doing? I'm removing the rind. I do mine with the machine. And I recommend you just like find a place near you that sharpens knives. Get them done often. You're going to enjoy cooking more. Your food will come out better. And I'm using a smaller knife to get these rinds off. The rinds, they will ruin the flavor. You want to remove these, okay? These white things right here, don't be sloppy. Take them off. Takes an extra second to remove that. Okay, I'm literally now taking off the skin. You're seeing what I'm doing. I'm just loosely cutting it like this, right from the rind. Let me shut off the broiler. Let me just double check how this is going. I can leave it a little more. Okay, that looks really messy. Let's get rid of that so it's not on your screen. All right, check that out. Now, because it's just me, I'm not gonna do the whole orange. But if I had guests, I certainly would. Can't get enough of citrus. And remember, if you're cutting things like this and you're serving people, make sure you have clean hands. This is how people get sick when you're touching fish and not, I'm cooking for myself. You're gonna take this now and you're gonna cut into little cubes. This is so beautiful. Bursting. Be careful that you don't squeeze out the juice. The juice is so part of it. Look at that. See how pretty these are? They're not perfect, but they're definitely pretty. We're not aiming for perfection here. You're gonna throw them on top of this fennel salad. Look at that, just like that. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more stuff. What am I adding? I'm gonna add some Castelvetrano olives. I told you guys, I love olives and I love Castelvetrano olives. I don't know what your favorite olive is, but I really love Castelvetrano. They're green, they kind of feel, they're not like, you know what I like about them? Some olives are very salty. These are not. And they're just, they're great to cook with. They're great to eat just as is. I'm just gonna roughly chop these olives, okay? And I feel like we need a little something else in this salad. So I think I'm gonna add, what would you guys add? I'm curious. We're gonna put green olives. I'm starving. Some capers. Rinse your capers. Don't take them straight from the jar and put them on top. They have a ton of salt in that water. Rinse them and dry them. I'm gonna put some fresh parsley, but I wanna put one more ingredient. I'm curious what you guys would choose. Let me know what you would choose. Fresh parsley. This has been cleaned and dried. Remember guys, clean herbs, very dry. If I weren't to dry this, this would be wilted and it would look terrible on the plate. So you want your herbs to be clean and dry. I see people skipping these steps and they overwash their herbs. If you're gonna put it under a faucet, don't put it on a high power. That's gonna damage the leaves. Leaves like arugula and parsley, they're so delicate. We need to treat them with care. So I want you to fall in love with herbs, but also know how to treat them. For instance, you wouldn't pre-wash these too far in advance. I washed them literally 15 minutes before we went on today. Otherwise, if you wash them in advance, they're gonna get wilted. How do I know that? From experience, okay? You have your parsley, kind of take it and curl it like this. I don't care if it's perfect. I like rustic. And you're just going to cut it like this, just once or twice. Beautiful. Parmesan. Ooh, I like how you think. You know what? We're not going to do, yeah, we will do Parmigiano. She said Parmesan. That's the American way of saying Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. She is correct. Let's do that. Should I add some red onion? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Are we onion fans? I know Brooke isn't. I kind of am. So hold on. I want to show you guys how we could add to this salad. So, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. Please, let's talk about Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. If you guys buy it pre-grated, you're killing me. Don't buy your Parmigiano Reggiano pre-grated. Also, get an aged Parmigiano Reggiano. Unlike olive oil, which we like to get from the same year, Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy. It should say DOP Italia on it. Look at this. This is a good chunk of Parmigiano Reggiano. If you're buying the stuff that's already been grated, it's not the real stuff. Kathy said yes, red onion, just a little bit, a little touch, okay? A little touch of red onion. I think it's gonna give it a nice little flavor, okay? Yes to red onion, yes to Parmigiano Reggiano. Say it like an Italian. Parmigiano Reggiano, Parmesan. We can say Parmesan here because we're in America, but my dad would say Parmigiano Reggiano. And we're gonna slice this up. I think we could do it in slices. We'll coarsely chop it like this, okay? So we have some nice red onions. Again, notice I'm not really dicing anything. I kind of want this to be a little bit of a rustic salad. I'm gonna put that on top. Look, it adds a little color. It's fantastic. Okay, so now we have our fennel salad. We have our Parmigiano Reggiano. Our asparagus is just about done. I'm gonna take it off. Our fish is almost done. We need to dress this, and we're going to. How do we do it? Same way I do everything. A little salt. This time I'm going to do, though, something a little coarser. So I'm gonna do a Sicilian sea salt. I want you to see this. It's coarse. Do you guys see that? I want the coarseness in this salad because I like the crunch. You might not like that. I do, and I want to control it. So I'm going to dip it. I'm going to raise my hand. Why raise it? If I go down here, I'm salting one part of it. When I raise it, look, it covers the whole thing, and I can control it. And that's just such a beautiful sparkle in my mouth when I have that salt. I'm not afraid of salt, especially the good salts. This is a Sicilian salt that I bought. I could link it if you guys want to understand it. Generously put some olive oil on top. How much? 3-to-1 ratio when we do a dressing. We would put 3 tablespoons olive oil for every 1 tablespoon citrus. I eye it because I have an idea, but in the beginning, if you don't have an idea, you can measure it. Some freshly ground pepper. And because my friend, who said the Parmigiano Reggiano? Kathy, and I think you're Italian, Kathy DiCesco said it. We're gonna put that on, but first I wanna mix this up and then we're gonna add it at the end. So we have it in. Take a fork, take a knife, and guys, if I was having company, this bowl would be a lot bigger. This is just for me. I could eat all this. I could eat all this without guilt. Why? Because this is healthy, this is flavorful, this is Mediterranean. I worked out very hard in Geo Glow today. Very hard. Not Geo Glow, Geo Lux. We're gonna shave some Parmigiano on top. Look at this, look at this, beautiful. I don't have to be afraid of this cheese. I'm shaving it. It's really just a little bit, but it's enough to give it just such a beautiful, look at that. You put this in front of your guest. I want to show it to you guys. Place the cheese, make it look pretty. Look at that. We like it. What about tofu to sub? Tufo? Or do you mean tofu, Blythe? Are you saying to substitute for the cheese? I wouldn't recommend that for the cheese, but for the parchment paper, why not? No, for the cheese, I don't think there is a substitute for Parmigiano Reggiano. Pecorino Romano if you want another cheese. But for this salad, I would do it without cheese. The cheese adds a little extra. Wow, so good. I'm gonna take out my stuff from the oven. We're gonna plate, we're gonna manja, we're gonna eat. I'll take some questions. Oh, you're gonna make it today. I am so excited. You saw how easy it was. And guys, I made a lot of mistakes today. I want you to note, I didn't cut my heart perfectly. I cut it like my nephew's in kindergarten. He would have done a better job. My mandolin piece was missing. Garlic wasn't prepared. There was a few mistakes. If I let those mistakes get to me and start saying, I can't cook, I take all the joy out of it. Do you see how like we course correct? Mandolin doesn't work. Okay, my fennel will be slightly thicker. Guys, it's just food. There are no rules. You have to have fun. And if you decided that you want to try yours a little different, I applaud that. This is my recipe. Make it your own. I always say that. Take the workouts, make them your own. Have fun in the kitchen. I made a bit of a mess. Okay, it's because we're having fun. Let me now take it out of the oven. Thank God I set this aside, because when I talk too much, I might open it up with my bare hands. Let me show you how this dish looks. So our asparagus looks fantastic. Check that out. And do you see how the tomatoes are just like a little browned? They're gonna burst with flavor onto my plate. I'm gonna plate it. I'm gonna show you. Let's take out the fish. Also going to be fantastic. So remember I said you want the paper to be a little browned? And it is, and it is. So I'm gonna show you how this all comes together. So give me a moment to get the proper spatula, I guess would be the term, to get this onto my plate. Where is my plate? My plate is here. We're gonna pop this open so I can show you guys what this fish looks like. See the fish that I showed you and I demoed? I could use that tomorrow night. And because it's so fresh, I can eat it tomorrow night. So this is hot, so very carefully, you would just take this part off and you would, oh, look at that. Okay, I don't know if the camera caught that. The steam is coming out, whoa. And the fish, hold on, take a moment here. This is my favorite part. You've gotta smell it. You gotta take that in. The fish smells incredible. So when that hits you, olive oil, lemon, a little garlic, some fresh herbs, and it hits you like a potpourri. That is the sensuality behind cooking. When we're able to open this up like a gift, be hit with all that flavor, and then I'm just gonna push this to the side because I wanna put my asparagus on the plate and a little fennel salad. So good, guys. God, I get so excited that I hope all of you try recipes like this. I really do. I'm gonna take some tongs, okay, and see how easy the cleanup is because I've used parchment paper. I could have made this much quicker too. I was talking, so I want you to see how quick this all is. And a little fennel salad. This is my lunch. I'm gonna eat it with you guys. Put this here, a little fennel salad to the side. It's so good. This is so good. I think this could be a holiday meal. Some of you might want to be a little more decadent and add pasta as a first course. You know me, I'm never saying no to pasta as a first course, but no one is going to complain that this is healthy. I was at church this morning telling the women that I'm doing a healthy cooking show, and they kind of went, oh, but it's healthy food. I said, no, healthy and delicious. So this is my plate. This is my lunch. I'm going to just cut this part off. We don't need it. I could even take this and get it off the parchment paper now and put it on my plate. Look at that. Look at that. What do we think? We just made lunch very quickly. Any questions for me? Kimberly said, did you broil the fish? Okay, Kimberly, I did not broil the fish. I guess at the end I did because it was in there, but that wasn't the intent. I baked it. The fish was baked for probably 15 minutes. I would normally do it longer because I knew I was going to put in the asparagus. I stopped it and then put on broil, and it was broiled for another 5 to 7 minutes. So anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes, and you'll know because that bag gets a little browned. When the bag gets a little browned and puffy, your fish is done. And if you guys want to see how good this tastes, I'm going to eat it on the camera. I hope I can do it with some grace. That's always a challenge. I'm just going to cut into this. I don't like when people cook and then you don't see them eat. The eating is the best part. I want to make sure I have a little something of everything on this plate. I'm going to take the fish. Wow. It's so good. It's so good. It's so light. Let me try the salad. Make sure I get a little bit of the cheese on top. Crunchy. The asparagus. Wow. You could even shave some of the Parmigiano Reggiano onto the asparagus. What they would call that in Italian is asparagus parmigiana. My father actually puts that on his menu at Monty's Trattoria. We have the recipe for that in my cookbook. And then what they do is they broil the cheese on the end so it's bubbly and browned, but you don't need to either. You see how versatile all of this is. Is there any questions for me? I hope you guys see how easy healthy cooking is. I hope you've gotten some ideas. Let's just go over it. Technique, parchment paper. You put what you want in there. You can experiment with herbs. Mint would have done well. So many things. I could have even added some of those fennel fronds to it. I could have sliced some fennel in there. I didn't bother because I knew I was having a fennel salad. I love adding zest. So get yourself one of these, a zester. The skin of the lemon and orange, zested just ever so slightly, adds a little bit of a kick. Salts, peppers, olive oils, really fantastic. You saw that little technique with the tomatoes to save time. You just place it there, use a serrated knife, slice it. The asparagus, we took it and elevated it by adding tomatoes in the center, and that gives it a little bit of color on the plate, right? You always want to be mindful. We eat with our eyes first. Sometimes we fall in love with our eyes first. So if we take that concept, we want our food to look pretty and presentable. Any questions? Rebecca, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to be here and cook with all of you. I hope you join me again next week for Nutrition Kitchen. I'm going to hang out here for another 30 seconds. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. Let me just check if there's anything I missed. The oil decanter, so pretty, thank you. Let me show you what I used to sharpen my knife. Okay, somebody agreed that Castelvetrano are the best olives. Let me show you. Hold on. Where is it? Where is my knife sharpener? It's funny, anytime you need something to show people, it's when you don't have it, right? Everything's a little messy, guys, in my kitchen since Thanksgiving. Here it is. This is it right here. It was right in front of me. I'm not saying this is the best. It's what I'm using right now. It's good. Wusthof. Did I say that right? I think it's German. Wusthof Easy Edge. It does the trick until I could get it professionally sharpened. You should sharpen your knives if you're a cook that cooks often, at least once a week. So I know most of us don't. It's like makeup brushes. We need the little reminder. Clean the brushes, sharpen the knives, clean the yoga mats, and we're all set for 2026. I will see you next week on Nutrition Kitchen. Make sure you enjoy your dish. Make sure you smell it, chew it slowly, and bon appetito. Till next time. Very good. Very good stuff. The orange is one of my favorite parts of this. All right, guys. Signing off.